Room tour Thursday afternoon, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time live stream. And today's going to be super cool. I know I say that every time, but that's because I feel like every time I get to share, I'm sharing something cool. Today, I'm going to show you guys our crazy living room habitat. Our entire living room, as you can see, is habitat to both animals and us. We have hammocks instead of a lot of furniture, and we spend a lot of time in here watching the animals. That's pretty much our favorite hobby, our favorite leisure time activity. And today I'm going to show you guys all of the animals. We're going to talk about their habitats. And then, with a couple of other things, I am also going to show you guys exactly what's going on with this crazy, mysterious toad that appeared in my plant. There are so many theories that are running around, people sending me messages. Did this happen? Did that happen? So I'm going to show you each detail of how things could have had to happen for that toad to get in that plant. And he had to have been in there for quite some time, I'm pretty sure. So we'll get your guys' opinion on that and see what you think. Also, I got a really cool book from a yard sale. It was like just crazy amazing how we didn't even know how perfect it was until we got home. And I'm going to show you guys that too. I also wanted to make a couple of announcements. First of all, we have decided that instead of doing our Tuesday afternoon live feed, we are going to create shorts and videos for the content that we've been showing on our Tuesday afternoon live feed. So we are no longer going to go live on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Instead, Larry and I are going to spend that time creating shorts and different videos about Jaja and the tortoises. So that's one update. And the second update is for this live feed on Thursdays, I am going to work super hard to keep it at 50 minutes or less, which reminds me, Ziggy, tell me when the time is 1:45 p.m. Ziggy, set a timer for 45 minutes.
Second timer, 45 minutes, starting now.
Okay, so that should help. When that timer goes off, I'll wrap things up. And then I also have an announcement at the very end that I want to tell you guys what we're going to do next Thursday. And that is going to be a special treat too, something that I've always wanted to show. I've taken pictures before my trips, but I want to show you guys something cool about my trip coming up. And it's going to be all the gear that I'm going to take. I was actually going to tell you that at the end of this video. So next Thursday at this time, I'm going to have my entire gear, my luggage, everything spread out on this floor and show you guys exactly what I take to the jungle. This is going to be my 10th trip to the Amazon rainforest, and I have really narrowed things down to the minimal. So that'll be interesting for a lot of you to see what I take on those trips. All right, well, let's get started. I'm going to start by showing you guys the animals. So let's come on over here and get a first look at this lizard. You guys, seriously, Jaja has changed our lives. We love this little animal so much. She has just captured our hearts in such a crazy way. Everything she does is so cute, and not only that, but it's the way she loves us back. She's extremely friendly, and if you guys have been coming to our Tuesday live feeds, then you have seen quite a lot of Jaja. I know the sun is in the background of this window, so she's kind of silhouetted, but Jaja is our perfect little girl. Look how she is. Oh, she sneezed. And she does sneeze. And that's part of cleaning this habitat. The biggest part of cleaning this habitat is her sneezing on everything. And we actually have a gauge for her sneezing, and that is on the glass of our windows. And it's kind of hard to see right now, but the glass shows her little salt sneezes when iguanas sneeze. It's like just salt from what I've read. All right, so let's get on with the habitats. But I think first I will check and see who's here and stuff. So let me go get my technology. And while I do that, I will keep you guys right there. So Erica, hello. Thank you for being here, Erica. Thank you very much. Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to see Facebook today. Here we go. So you guys can see how Jaja is sitting on that perch right there. And that perch is something that we actually. Hello. Oh, Jaja. All right, good. Hello, Wendy. Thank you for coming. This perch that Jaja is sitting on started from the very, very first day that she was here. So you guys can see that up in the window here, she has 3 sticks going across. Up above there, she has a heater. And we do use a heat rock, which is not advisable, but we do make sure that heat rock is on a very low setting. We have a resistor set to it, so it stays at about between 85 and 88 is what we measure it at usually. You can also see that in Jaja's window, she is a free-range animal. When I said the living room is a habitat, I mean literally the entire living room is a habitat. And in the windowsill here, you can see there's a diagonal going across. This was a 16-foot stairwell banister that I had gotten off Facebook Swap Shop a few years ago, a few years before we got Jaja. And it had just been in storage. And I was going to use it on my stairwell. We got all of the hardware for it, and I was going to use it as a slide rail so I could slide down the stairs. And we never did install it. So when we got Jaja, I thought of that stairwell rail, and we cut it down to the right measurement. I think it was about 12 feet, and that's the diagonal of her window. So then I also covered it with sandpaper. And she really loves that diagonal. She follows the sun. Depending on where the sun is where she'll sit. And you guys can see that I clip her food to the soaker hose vines that she has there, which she loves. She uses them when she's shedding. You'll see her scraping parts of her body on it. But I clip the food there so that when she eats, she can actually pull on the food. And that way she is eating more naturally. I said once on one of my live feeds that she uses her natural muscles to yank her food, and somebody thought that was funny. But yes, I mean, I think it's good for them to have as much naturalness as possible. You guys can probably see the tortoises moving down there, and I'm going to talk about them after I finish talking about our beautiful little green iguanas habitat here. You guys can also see that on Jaja's, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to back up just a minute. I was talking about the 3 sticks going across. So you guys can see there's 1, 2, 3 sticks. And those sticks are stuck into these hammock hangers. And so you can see that the hammock hangers have loops, and I just stuck the sticks between those loops going across. And I hung the plants. They're all just hanging plants up there. And the reason I've used these spider plants, or sometimes known as airplane plants, is because I had all kinds of different plants up here. They all seemed to do really well in this window, but Jaja devours everything. And she hardly eats these plants. She'll take some bites, but she's not super interested in them. And her water bowl is right up here. She has that, but she also gets a shower every day. Plus, I'll show you how I spray the animals. So there's plenty of humidity here, which is a very important factor for these green iguanas, as well as the fact that I live in Arkansas, central Arkansas. So we have a pretty good, I think about a 65% average humidity all year. So that on top of all of the plants and the spraying that I do keeps her humidity up. And then you guys can see that I also put some structures, just like as time's gone by, I've added some things like this little hanging rock that she enjoys and all of these extra perches. This is, this thing right here is a huge packing tube that I got from something that we ordered. I don't know what it was, but I covered that in sandpaper and added it to everything. And it's just beautiful. Jaja is fully potty trained. She will let us know if we are too late for her shower, and she'll start trying to do things to tell us that she needs her shower. We put her in the warm shower for about literally sometimes the first second she gets in there, she uses the bathroom right away. And sometimes it might take her 5 minutes. So she's really quick. She knows what she's doing in there. All right, so we have our tortoise habitat. And you guys can see here, this is a large tortoise habitat. And this is the smaller tortoise habitat. They used to both live in this one, but there were some things going on that we thought, there was no fighting, but we did feel that the smaller tortoise was not getting to use the space the way the big one was. So we put the big one over here. And then it turned out that the big one was enjoying the sun so much, Pasithea was enjoying the sun so much. So we started moving Tiny Tim every morning from his habitat over to Pasithea's habitat. And they really started getting on well and seemed to be pretty upset when I moved them. I don't know if you guys saw that just now, but Pasithea went under his rock and the whole thing starts moving. He's in there. He's getting too big. This is all going to have to be redone. Not the whole thing, but what I'll do is just take out certain areas and raise it and make a few things different. Larry thinks that this table weighs about 2,000 pounds. It is full of stone and dirt. This area over here is grass. At different times a year, I've put grass in there and they eat it. It grows for a while, but they walk on it so much, it doesn't really have a chance. Now, you guys can see this plant over here, and we're going to talk about that in a little while. But first, I'm going to show you all of the other animals. But that's the plant that we found Prince, the toad, in. How did he get in there? I have no idea. You guys can see Tiny Tim coming out of that cave down there. And then Pasithea is inside of that cave right now. And the reason the tortoises are in their caves right now instead of sitting in the sun is because there's yard work going on outside and the noise. They're very sensitive to noise. Even if I turn music on and they're both out, they'll run to their cave. And it doesn't even have to be loud. Oh, golly. Just show you guys this lizard. She's so cute. She just wants to know what's going on. She always wants to be part of whatever's going on. When people come over, she comes down. When we're out here in the living room, she comes out. As close to us as she can on that perch. She's just so super adorable. Hi, Tara. I know you're at work. So thank you so much extra for joining us while you're at work. Wendy, thank you for being here again. And Erica, of course. Erica, thank you for always being here, Erica. And Tara. So, okay, let's keep talking about these habitats. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to show you, and that is right there, Jaja has a light, and that's a UVB UVA light. So on top of just the warm sunshine, we've put her light above where she sits the most. So she's also getting the proper rays that she needs, as much as a light like that can provide. Then down here on the tortoise habitat, I've showed you guys a little, but let me show you more. This is a huge feat, making this habitat. I spent a week outside collecting stones for this habitat. We went down to the river and we collected a whole bunch of earth that was filled with bugs, roly-polies. I know people call them pill bugs. And even in the reptile world, they have a name. I know one of you is going to tell me, and I know it's not an aphid. I totally know that, but that's the first thing that came to mind. So tell me what those roly-poly bugs are called that people buy for bioactive habitats. So I just get them from down by the river, and when I lift up one of these stones, or even the water bowl sometimes, they're in there. They're everywhere in here. I'll see huge ones dead, and I know they just lived a full life, and then lots of babies, as well as anytime I find an earwig. I Googled it and saw that earwigs can also help with bioactive, so I put those in here as well. And also, like in all of my big plants, I get earthworms. Anytime I go to PetSmart or we drive by a bait shop, we have a bait shop right here in Arkansas. And guess what the name of the bait shop is? I don't know if you guys could see my face, but the name of the bait shop is Masturbators, and it caused a big fuss around here in this area. People did not like it being called that. I just added that for funny information. But I do put worms in my plants just to keep the soil irrigated, because not all of my plants have drainage. So between the bugs and the worms, that's going to be a little bit of our answer to some of the mysterious toad questions. You guys can see that these animals really use this habitat. They love climbing on these rocks. The rocks, it's kind of hard to see at this exact moment. Let me get the water going here. Where's my spray hose? I'm going to put this up here for just 1 second. Grab this hose so that you guys can better see what I'm about to show you. And that is the time I took with these stones. If you guys can see that these stones right here, spray some water on them, are black. See how they're all black? I put this crystal as a stepstone that goes up to their feeding area. All of this stone is their feeding area right here. They have this plant, and this spot right here, Pasithea cannot get through, and Tiny Tim can use that area just for himself. And I do spray these animals. The tortoises also need a lot of humidity, especially in their youth. I fill this water bowl, I never fill it up. I just kind of do that and let it get dry, because they will come back and look for that water. And some of you may have seen some of Tiny Tim's videos where he actually will scrape and scratch the water bowl asking for water. They are not water deprived. Although this animal right here, you can see on Pasithea that Pasithea has what they call pyramiding on his shell. And that's where these little pieces are raised up right here. And when we first got Pasithea, he was just under a year old, and he had deep, deep cleavage between his scutes here, because his pyramiding was so distinct. And since we've had him for the last year and a half almost, you can see that the areas between his scutes have really grown flat as they're growing. So he's doing really well and getting a lot better. So when we got, and I'm just kind of watering, I'll tell you guys about where we got the animals here after. Now you guys can look over here and see how I have all of these crystal-like white rocks. And even these huge rocks that hold up the cave here, hold up this plant. So all over here, I did it in these white crystal rocks. Here in central Arkansas, crystals, like this, for example, is one, they grow right in the ground here like potatoes, I always say. And they're just spectacular. So we do have a lot of this stone that looks a little crystally, quartz maybe. And then you can see how I really designed the bottom here with black rocks and white rocks. This rock is actually from Tucson right here, my brother gave to me. And then right here on the little mountain that these animals have, there is this heat lamp. And they love the heat lamp. They sit up there in the evenings and watch the sun set out the window. And Jaja will often, take over that spot. They'll also all sit up there together. Jaja, do you want some water? Look how she loves that. Oh, you're such a good girl, Jaja. You're such a good girl. She's like, I don't know if I really want that right now. It's good for her. She's shedding, so she needs extra, even though she already had her bath today. And she had food, so she's not out here for food, although she does always expect a treat. So the cool thing about this habitat, how did I come up with putting rocks in here when most people only use some kind of substrate? I just looked up their natural habitat online, the same way I did with our emeralds downstairs. But with the emeralds, I actually go to their habitat to find what kind of stuff they love. And with these tortoises, I won't be traveling to South Africa to investigate their habitats. At least I have no place in my heart to do that right now. But online, I could clearly see that their habitats were very rocky. So I tried to emulate that with little caves and all kinds of little rock structures. I also learned that these animals have beaks that often cause them trouble later in their years because in their natural habitats, they eat off rocks. And they also try to chip away at the salt in the rocks or, try to get to it. Not the salt, but calcium is what I meant to say. So I just read a lot of things and tried to emulate that as much as possible. They do have cuttlebone around and they use that quite a lot. But with these rocks, they do have to put their beaks down onto the rock to eat their food. And that is really helpful in keeping their beaks and their toenails trimmed. So you guys can really see in a lot of pictures and videos of tortoises that their toenails are extremely long and the older ones have really long beaks. Look at this animal, you guys. Isn't she something? How social she is. It's just crazy. So I really wanted to be sure and provide them with rocks. Also, these animals don't only like to have a hide to sleep in, they like to dig. So I wish I don't think that's going to work. I hope I can get back what I had going here. I am no longer able to see my screen. Uh-oh. Okay. So I don't know what to do about the screen at this moment. What I'm going to do is check the messages and see if maybe this goes away. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Yay, I got it back. But I can still check messages right now while you guys just sit and look at Jaja and Tiny Tim. William Blake, good afternoon. So good to see you again. Larry Powell, what did you say? $10 off your dental bill at Village Dental Group if you are a new subscriber to HappyBasins. Sounds good, doesn't it? He says. For those of you guys who can't see some messages that I'm reading, it's because on the StreamYard app that I use, I'm able to see both Facebook and YouTube messages. So sometimes you can see some. Does the dentist ever sound good? Erica says. Oh, that's true. I guess it does when you're hurting. You have to think of the alternative. Isopods. Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much. Isopods is the word I was looking for earlier for roly-poly. All right, you guys, thank you. And thank you, Erica, for always reminding Tara about the live feeds. Christina, thank you for being here. I just love having you guys here. Thank you so much. All right, let's keep rolling on with our habitat. I'm not going to be able to really show you guys deep inside the caves, but something really cool that I've discovered with these animals over the year and a half that I've had them is they like to do hard things. If they can't do something, they will keep trying to do it over and over again until they can. And I first discovered that over here in their initial habitat. Underneath both of these big rocks here is a cave, and then they have the heat lamp here on the top. So they often would sit up here on the top. They don't really go in here anymore, and I've kind of stripped it of some of its goods and moved it over to the other habitat because I'm likely going to be disassembling this habitat. But what they like to do is get up on top of the little cliff and jump off. And if they land on their back or their side, they take the time to flip over and then they walk right back up and jump off again. And I watched Pasithea do this so many times. And I told Larry, I said, that tortoise is trying to teach himself how to jump off that rock. And then one of the reasons we moved Pasithea into a whole new house is because Tiny Tim was not using the heat rock over there. And also Pasithea would try to get his food. So that's why we gave Pasithea his own house. But I think this place is so big, they're fine with it. And plus they share it now with the iguana. So everybody's just used to it. Anyway, so I would see them jumping off of the cliffs. And then once we moved Pasithea to his own house, Tiny Tim started climbing up there and jumping off. And they did that also in this one. They both mastered every side of this cliff. They can both completely get off every side of the cliff, and they practiced. There was one time, I hate to say this, but there was one time, and this is why it's not good to have a setup like this with them if you have tortoises who are unattended all day or however long. But one time Pasithea did jump. Oh, here comes Jaja. She's going to go down there. You guys are getting a good show today. I actually did feed them all, but just enough to satisfy them and make them less aggressive. So they're all still just a little bit hungry, but not starving at all. That's how you can always control these kind of animals, is with food. But over here, what I was just talking about is Pasithea was flipped over there. I've since rearranged the rocks to try to make sure he can balance off of his back if he got stuck. And he fell over there and he was there for 1 hour, 17 minutes. And there is a camera right there, which does give me a side view of all of this. And I was able to actually see how long he was there. And my heart was broken. Zaza, those are bones. You're not supposed to eat those like that. So, goodness. Yep, they do want more food, don't they? So they do like to jump off the rocks. There is more than just jumping off the rocks. And some of you have actually seen Pasithea do this on the Tuesday afternoon live feeds because he does it all the time. And he's done it a couple of times on the Tuesday live feeds. Let's see if I can get this camera back here. This habitat goes all the way around. Oops. My camera's not. It goes all the way around here. And right down at the bottom, there is an opening on the other side, that Pasithea, can very easily get through. And he goes through that large opening and comes around over here to the small opening and tries his very best to get through. He will ram his body, he will turn sideways, try to fit like a key through that opening. And when I bring food and put food around over this way, he turns around as fast as he can, goes out the opening that's big enough for him, and comes and gets the food. So he knows exactly how to get in and out of there, but he will try to come out, and then he'll come back around and try to get in, go back around all the way in and try to get out. He does it over and over again. So he thinks that eventually he's going to be able to get out of that cave. And he'll keep doing it. So I think that struggling is just part of what these animals enjoy. Not like Jaja. Jaja likes everything very leisurely. You guys, Jaja is shedding, and she does not like that loose skin on her. And I don't like to peel it off unless it's just like falling off, because you have to make sure that the oil between the old skin and the new skin has actually kind of dried up before you pull it off. So, like I said, this whole habitat is filled with bugs. I tried to create spaces for them to climb, cliffs for them to jump off of, now that I know that's what they like, and spaces that they can't fit through. Pasithea also spends quite a bit of time trying to get through that area. So that's just how these guys are. Now, you guys have seen that our entire living room window is full of animals. And also, another thing that I left out is that the tortoises also have the UVB, UVA light here, as well as one over here in Tiny Tim's habitat. I just can't keep the grass alive because of the way the animals walk on it. I do have some grass that stayed alive over here in this corner because they're not really walking on it. Under the spider plant, there's some grass that lived, as well as underneath this one over here. And I'm going to talk about Prince last because I still have 2 more animals to show you guys. I'm going to try to lower my legs of this tripod. You guys can forget your childhood lesson of righty-tighty, lefty-loosey when it comes to these tripods, because that doesn't work. Jaja, where are you going? Where are you going, Jaja? Like, I'm going to go find food. I do have some food that I was going to give her. We'll see if she gets it, but she's so cute. If she starts walking all around the floor, I'll show you guys, because when she walks, it is so cute. Come here, Jaja. Come here. Come on. She's like, what do you got? Show me what you got and I'll come. All right, let's look at Serapi. Serapi's blue, so she has not been behaving normally. Let me just back up and show you guys this entire setup here. So we have in this top enclosure is Serapi, our Aztec California king snake, and Hundo Lane, our Pueblan milk snake. And these 2 guys just live here in these habitats. Serapi is pretty much a free-range animal. She does get to spend quite a lot of time out of her enclosure. Not always on purpose, but she always comes back around. She was once gone for 5 months, so she knows her way around this house. Yeah, she's completely blue. Come here, Serapi. Come here. Yeah, she's not in the mood to go anywhere, but you guys can see that she's got plants and moss inside of this habitat. And I also put earthworms, and red bloodworms was one I didn't mention in the other plant. And that helps. Also the, look up that word again. I don't want to lose it. The isopods. I also put roly-polies into that enclosure, both of those enclosures. I am going to just give this little thing something really quick. because she can really get me stressed out. She is so demanding. So I'll show you guys. I'm just taking this pile of zucchini and I am putting it on her rock right there. And then I am going to put her over here. Ow. Here, Zaza, look. And then she'll go eat that. And Tuesdays are when we feed Jaja, but now we're going to start making shorts and videos for that instead of the full long live video. All right, so Serapi's habitat. She's got soaker hose vines, which she absolutely loves. She does slither all over these. She's got logs to hide in, cork logs, as well as this store-bought cactus thing she can get into, and all the bugs in there. You guys, people come over here to this house, and the first thing they usually say is, "Oh, wow, you can't smell any animals in here." And it's true, you can't. And I attribute that to the bugs because all of the earth here in Serapi's little enclosure is all from the riverbank. We don't put outside earth with our emeralds. They get a whole different kind of, cautions. But these animals, this animal is actually indigenous to this area, not this Aztec California king snake, but we do have lots of king snakes here. So Serapi is perfectly fine with whatever's in there, obviously, because it's been years now since she's been living like this in there, on and off when she's not running loose around the house. But the plants grow really good. She does have a fluval. They both have a fluval plant light. And Serapi has a 3-layer water bowl. The reason for that is that when we first got Serapi, she would get into this water bowl and submerge her entire body with just her nose sticking out. So I wanted to fill that water bowl all the way up to the top. So I put it inside of this water bowl so that I could overflow it. Well, then I would notice that Serapi would get her whole body under this water bowl here, which I'm surprised she's not in there, as blue as she is right now. But she would put her whole body under there with her nose sticking up here. So then I put the 3rd-layer water bowl so that I can fill this one as much as I wanted to. And of course, now she gets down in the inside. She uses that water bowl to the extreme, as well as I have it standing up on some rocks under there so she can get completely under there, which she also enjoys. She spends a lot of time up under that plant. She's extremely active. She uses this full enclosure. That spider plant was small. It's got huge, beautiful roots now, and its babies are completely growing into the moss over there. So it's a very healthy little environment, and I have the same thing in here with the isopods. Now, this enclosure I actually had long before I had the tortoises and the iguana. And this enclosure, I actually did buy isopods. They were called dairy cow isopods I bought online. And I still find a dairy cow in there once in a while. And all that is a little roly-poly with a pattern that looks like a big cow. So whatever is going on in there, the bugs are living healthily. I do find the earwigs that I put in there, I find lots of earwigs now, not just the couple that I've put in there. So between the river earth and the bugs that I throw in there, everything's going good. There is zero smell coming out of these enclosures. And the only thing I clean is the glass and the dead leaves out. And other than that, the bugs take care of everything. And I did not know that that's called bioactive, because I started doing all of this basically blindly because, we got these animals, which I'm still going to tell you where we got them. Ziggy, what time is it? Ziggy's not working very good. But it's kind of hard to show you this one, but this is Hundo Lane's habitat. And my camera will not turn that way. But this habitat also, what are you guys seeing there? Just the floor? Sorry, one moment. I'm trying to center this up. Larry's so good at this camera, and it's just not as easy as it seems. Well, I'm not going to be able to get down there really good, but you guys can see that that this habitat down here is full of plants, and it does really well with the plants and the bugs, just like Serapis does. Okay, just trying to get this active track enabled. I do not want that. Thank you guys for being patient here. All right. Jaja. All right, so there you see these habitats, and this actual habitat allows the milk snake to burrow. He does a lot of burrowing, and you can see his big, pretty shed there. He's black, brown, or black, red, and white. No. Yes, Jaja. All right, so let me see what time it is. Oh, we're getting close, aren't we? Hello, Christina. Hi, Nan. Thank you guys for being here. Genetics nerd, thank you for being here while you sort your files. Hi, Megan. Happy Thursday, Megan. Thanks for hopping on for a few. Thank you for loving our habitats. Tara's family is here. Oh, you mean us. We're your family. She's talking about Erica, Megan, and maybe even Genetics nerd. Yes, I'm going to tell you about the frog right now. Genetics nerd. Yes, exactly, genetics nerd. The bioactive enclosures just smell like earth. That's right. That's all they smell like is earth. And when I spray all of this stuff in here, it smells like rain, like desert rain. I love it. Yes, Jaja is going on an exploration. Christina. Okay, genetics nerd is Christina. Hi, Christina. Thank you for coming. All right, so I want to tell, before we go on about the frog, let me move this camera back again so I can actually be in the video too. And this little thing is going to really cause me grief because that's what she does. You're such a good girl, Jaja. Where are you going to go? She's like, I don't know, but somewhere. Oh, she got all the skin just came off. These animals, we got first of all, Jaja, she's the most recent addition. We got a text message that this little animal was homeless at the time, which turned out the person who was taking care of her while she was homeless sent us a message and said, you know, we have this little thing. And I had said, no, we don't want any animals that we have to take care of every day. But by then, just right before that, we ended up with these tortoises who we were just going to foster. And then we decided, well, we'll take Jaja in until we can find her a home. Well, we are not good foster parents because the word foster means temporary, and we can't do that. So we have these animals now as just part of our family, and our hearts are fully devoted. We're all in with them. We do everything we can. And I also didn't mention the sulcata tortoises. The tortoises are sulcatas, the third largest species on the planet. They have the potential to get over 100 pounds and live over 100 years. And yes, we do have children to take these animals, eagerly take these animals when the time comes for that. The tortoises, one was a full rescue living in a snake rack drawer, the bigger one. And then the littler one was given to us because my girlfriend saw how well we were taking care of the big one, and she said, well, can you take mine too? So we have those two tortoises. Serapi was a very aggressive snake, biting every single thing anything that moved, she would bite. She lived in a snake drawer. When you opened the drawer, she would fly out to bite you. And that animal now is just as social and sweet as she can be. We can completely let her out. Even if she's gone for days, she will come out when we're active in here. She's that social. And then Hundo Lane was also, not living like he's living right now. And he had escaped his home, and he needed a new home. So he just happened to come back. This is the whole big story to go with this. It's Larry's story. But Hondo Lane went back to the place that he had escaped, and the people let us take him home and give him a better place to live. So that is where all of these animals came from. I am going to, I'm looking at the time. I never can make these as short as I want to, but let's talk about the toad. Okay, these next minutes are going to be all about the toad. If you guys have a question, you can ask it, and I will come back and look at these comments and answer. But let's talk about this toad. All right, you guys can see that plant right there. That plant is inside of the tortoise habitat, on top of the cave that I built. And then not only that, but it has this plexiglass all around it, completely 100% around it, because that was the very initial habitat for the tortoises. I just realized I got a scratch from Jaja. So if you look at it in toad world, size-wise, let's get a view right here. That toad, if he came from outside through my front door, which I know did not happen because our front door is never ever open. Larry picked Hansel up out of the office the other night. The animals were not really good about keeping everything secure because we just wish we could let them all go all the time. But the hamsters have escaped a few times. Serapi is often out. And of course, you guys can see how active Jaja is. Ziggy, cancel. You guys can see how active Serapi, or how active Jaja is. And Serapi is exactly the same way. So we are extremely careful about keeping our door shut. So the toad coming in through the door at some point, and then hopping. Someone told me that toads walk and frogs hop, so I really don't know anything about either. But for that toad to come through the door, which our door is on a second story. This is our front porch out there. It's a balcony. You have to go upstairs to get to it. So for the toad to come through there, he would have to completely go upstairs through our front door, hop across the whole entire the house, and then get up to the tortoise table over their plexiglass, climb up the cave into the plant and over the top of the plexiglass of the plant. So, Tara, I hope that satisfies you and other folks who had mentioned that it's possible the toad came through the front door. I just don't see it happening. Now, another thing is did I put a plant in the tortoise plant island that may have come from outside? Yes, I did. My girlfriend, Betty Helms, loves Isis. And so every time she comes over to visit Isis, she brings me plants. Most of these plants are from Betty. This one up here is from my neighbor and Pam. And all of these plants could have been outside at some point. But the thing is, this bottom plant here, Plant Island, Nothing has been added to that island in many, many, many months. It has just been growing from all the little babies that were in there. And so that has not had new plants in it. Look at this lizard, you guys. Crazy thing. But all of these plants, some of them have been added recently because Jaja ate the pothos and some of the other stuff that was up there. So some of these were added, but I used the soil out of the bag that I had and then took the plants and shook the roots out and put them in the soil. So two scenarios could happen. Either the toad was in one of these plants within the last couple months, last 2 months or so, or it was in one of these plants or earth almost a year ago. So either way, that toad's been in this house for a long time and likely was embedded deep into one of the plant roots and may have just over the last couple months fallen down into the plant and came from there, or has been in here for a very long time eating earthworms, isopods, earwigs, and whatever else I throw in there. So the thing is fat. He's a nice fat little thing. I can't show him to you now. I've only seen him 3 times since I found him on the 8th. And he just buries himself in there. Once in a while, I do see him stick his head out in a spot, but that hole is completely gone. So I think he just burrows deep in there. I did dump 50 mealworms in there. So he does like those mealworms. You sweet thing. You're so restless. She wants me to carry her around. Sometimes I try to carry her around while I'm doing all stuff, and she just walks around with me, looking at everything. And she probably wants me to do that now. All right, so let's see. What about the toad? Let's see if you guys had anything to say about the toad. Put this down again. So much stuff I want to show you guys, like my shirt, for example. My brother, did you know that I got a toad mysteriously appear in my house? Hi, Jamie. Thank you guys for coming, watching our little live feed here. I am going to just wipe this camera off. I suddenly see it's got spots, probably from the rain shower the other day. All right, so just a couple more things. My shirt, is a shirt that if you guys watched our Jungle Room art episode, you know the story behind this dragon lizard. And I wear this shirt. I have 3 of them, identical. My girlfriend, Trina Flowers, put this decal on the shirts for me. And I have 3 of them, and I wear them to the jungle when I go look for the emeralds. And I wore this today to remind myself to tell you that next Thursday, when we do this live feed, I am going to show you guys all of the gear I take to the jungle. And I know I said it at the beginning, but I'll tell you again. I am going to take out my full, I'm leaving very close to the end of the week next week. And on Thursday, I am going to take all of my gear that I'm taking and lay it all out and show you guys what I take. And I only get to take 1 bag. I'll be gone for 2 weeks, and we'll be out in the forest for 10 days. So you guys will see what a girl takes to the jungle for that long of a trip. My 10th trip to the Amazon rainforest. The first time I went, crazy. I'll tell you guys all about the luggage situation next week. I'm always getting ahead of myself. Now, hold on. I have to show you what I found at a garage sale. Some of you might have seen this on a Facebook post I made, but I'm going to show you again. I'll just move this hammock in case you guys want to see the animals moving around behind me while I chat. If you can, my head's in the way. But look at this book. Esther called us on Friday and said, there's a garage sale up the street you would like. And I saw this book there, and see how it has an emerald right on the cover? You very rarely actually see emeralds on stuff. So that was super cool. And as soon as I saw the emerald, I was like, oh, rainforest emerald, I'm getting this book for $10. Well, we got the book home and Larry started looking through it, which it's incredible. It's full of so many, the pictures are just incredible of the, all the fauna, the animals, the plants. Just look at that. It's just got so many amazing pictures with animals. But this is what Larry found. Look at, this is not it, but flowers, everything. Okay, I'm trying to get to this. I did mark it so that I wouldn't have this problem. And it is, oh, I'm not very careful with stuff. All right, so this is actually, I'm going to take this cover off. Hold on, because I am not being good to that cover. And, you know, the hard cover is just as beautiful. But look at this, smack in the center of this book, you guys. It's an emerald and an iguana right there. I mean, can you believe that those two are together on the exact same page, right smack in the very center of this book? I could not believe it. And this is not just the South American forest. This book is full of the forest from Asia, all of the rainforests, and it's just spectacular. So lots of other animals in here. But the fact that we had the emerald and the iguana right together in the middle of the book was just like, wow, this book was meant for us. So that's very incredible. Yes, Tara, a book made for us. It was just crazy. And yes, I know how much you love books. And yes, Erica, that was a great find, seriously. Okay, you guys, I think I covered everything. I did have my little note card, but I've couldn't find it. I had it in my hand, you know how it is. And of course, as soon as we finish here, I'll find the note card, but I think I talked about everything. I did want to show you guys this. This is a list of all the animals in our house. It's upside down. I know you can't read it, but you can just see that it's a list of all the animals we have in our house. And at the very bottom down here, I added the toad. And it's a Fowler toad, and we named him Prince because Larry said, kiss it and see if it's a prince. I'm like, we'll just name him Prince, and now he's a prince. So just a couple more things. I know I'm always thinking of stuff. I'll just show you guys really quick this amazing mural that we had painted on our floor. This mural was painted on our floor before we even thought about getting snakes. But there was a carpet here. The previous owners had a big carpet here. So you could actually see a circle. And one of my students from the college, Jessie, she was an art student at the time. I was teaching mathematics, but she was an art student in one of my math classes. And she wanted to paint this on our floor. So it does, some of this is covered up, but it does have 3 snakes on it. And the other one's way under there. I can't get to it. But she started off with this one little snake, and then it just got to be more and more snakes. Oh, what is it, Jaja? And then over here, this is my Medusa. And you guys have, some of you have seen me wearing this costume in real life, but when I'm not wearing it, she stands as a mannequin in our living room. But I do have a lot of other really cool art in here. And we did an episode downstairs with our jungle room art. And I hope that I'll be able to do an episode with our upstairs art. I have a brand new little thing, and it is these. I just got these off Facebook Swap Shop, and they're just little round tables that Larry put wheels on for me. And I could sit on them. I can use them as tables. My computer's sitting here on one right now, and I have 3 of them. And our very, very dear friend, Ron Rundo, who's a fabulous artist, is actually going to paint scenes on each of these tables. So pretty soon, this is going to be modular art. I can't wait. All right, you guys, as you know, I always have a hard time saying goodbye, but it has only been 1 hour, so I did pretty good. I love you guys so much, and I really appreciate you being here. Christina, I see that you had to go. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Tara, Erica, Jamie, my brother. So many of you guys here. It's just been amazing having you. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys again. Megan, I don't know who's all still here to say goodbye. Carl, thank you for popping in. William Blake, I just love that you come to these. I wish you would just come over to my house. You should be here. And Wendy, I don't think I got everybody, but thank you guys all so much for coming today. I'll see you again soon.